what is the chemical basis? Normally what happens? What is required for life? ATP. What chemical processes are going on for producing ATP?
So oxidative phosphorylation.
Oxidative phosphorylation in the carbonic acid cycle and glycolysis. So both processes are the process of life, and after death the ATP production continues because of already present glycogen, because of the disintegration of the glycogen by anaerobic glycogenolysis. So in life there is oxygen, and the living cycle in the mitochondria is producing by carbonic acid cycle and glycolysis the ATPs, and by the side the products which are being formed, the lactic acid, it is being utilized by other cycle. It is not accumulating, whereas after death, when the lactic acid is going to produce with anaerobic glycogenolysis, it will accumulate. So, because for metabolism on one end pH is required, then the temperature is optimum. So, not only the pH is falling down because of the production of the lactic acid accumulation, the pH is falling and body is cooling. So, the fall in temperature, accumulation of lactic acid causing reduction in pH and depletion of ATPs because of the depletion of glycogen. So these are the chemical bases which result in the production of rigor mortis. There are certain other factors, calcium will be other, but at your level, ATP will be depleted. That means the production will be stopped after some time. ATP require किस लिए होती है? To push the actin myosin apart, cause the relaxation. When ATP will be depleted, what will happen? What will happen? Relaxation नहीं होगी, and intermediate state पे वो fix हो जाते हैं. Not in contracted, not in relaxed, but there is an intermediate state in which it is fixed, and that is known as ectomyosin gel, जो opacity cause करती है. So, the rigor mortis is nothing to do with the nerve supply. Nerve supply का कोई role नहीं है. It is the chemical basis. So, we discussed the normal physiology, that the contractile element, we know it consists of actin and myosin, and for pushing them apart, the ATP is required. This is the diagram representing the normal phenomena, the relaxation and contraction by the muscles controlled by the ATP. And this ATP depends upon the glycogen stores in the body. And the mitochondria is the powerhouse where the aerobic processes they are going on, carbonic acid cycle and the other glycolysis. So these are the processes of life. But altered physiology after death means now these aerobic processes will be stopped, and after the primary flaccidity till the ATP production is going on, now the body will enter into a rigid state. And the anaerobic glycogenolysis will be causing production of ATP for a certain period of time. And when the glycogen content will be depleted, it will start again. And this depletion also depends upon the amount of muscle activity at the time of death. For example, if the person is in extreme activity, fighting soldier, falling from mountain, swimming, so already the glycogen reserves are being utilized. So in these conditions after death, there are less glycogen content. So in these conditions, the rigor mortis will be developed early than the normal person. So the lack of oxygen doesn't mean that after death the ATP production will not occur. ये सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन आपसे जब वाइवा पूछा जाता है ATP प्रोडक्शन होगी आफ्टर डेथ? नहीं. How the body remains in a lax state for certain period of time? Because the ATP production after death is going on anaerobically, and that is the cause of flaccidity. Immediate is because of loss of innervation, but for prolonged flaccidity, that is by the help of ATPs. So we discussed that the temperature, optimum temperature is required for the normal physiology and maintenance of the ATP production or any other process, but after death the temperature starts falling down because of the loss of heat. On the one end, the ATP production ceases, the glycogen reserves they are depleted, and resynthesis ceases, and after that it starts anaerobically, and the lactic acid is now accumulating, which is causing the fall in the pH, increased acidity. So, in the presence of ATP, the increased active myosin filament form gel-like. They become fixed, and this results in a change that the muscles now will become rigid, fixed, and stiff. It will not be moving. The ectomyosin filament, they are not moving, they are not being pushed apart, neither they are not being contracted, and an intermediate stage, it is ectomyosin gel-like structure, they become stiff, fixed, and rigid. This is the relaxed state, and this is the contracted state, and this is an intermediate shape, and you can see the cross linkages, they are